Hi, I'm Christina.
And I'm Shauna. We're two best friends in our 30s just navigating motherhood.
And dishing all the hilarious, inappropriate truths that go with it. We are Millennial Moms. Please don't lick the microphone.
Disclaimer, you can hear my child. Sorry.
It's not a cow giving birth. That is Marshall.
He does it all the time. Sounds like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, so welcome to Millennial Momming. What's new? What have we been doing? What the fuck is up?
What was that?
What was that?
Not my phone.
Mine's in my pocket.
What was that?
I don't know. Maybe it was the spirits. We had spirits visiting
Stop.
us. You're the one. Bitch.
Got the chills.
We're gonna go ghost hunting.
I'm terrified, but I want to go.
Yeah. It'll be really fun. So, on today's episode of Millennial Momming, we have Kevin Koss. So, how have you been?
Busy.
Busy?
Yeah.
How did it go with your case that you were working on?
Oh, yeah, I'm still working on
Are
it.
you? Okay.
So, and I'm going to contact another person about another case in Iowa. But the areas that I have been compelled to, there's the family has a report. I didn't know you could get these, but an astrological report that shows, like, if you went missing, these charts are very specific, and the areas that you could potentially
Oh, no
found,
way.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's that they've come across that's been very specific in some cases, and so excuse me. So with this one that I saw, there's about 5 or 6 spots in a large area that somebody could be found.
Okay.
And all the things that are characteristic of it were things that I was picking up.
Wow.
Okay.
And so when I first met with the family, because I did a free reading for the family, just 'cause I wanted to see what I could get for them and find, get closure. That's really what it's
Right.
all about, right? And so it's fascinating because it's just trying to, like I tell everybody, like if I'm talking with your relative, like you can confirm things, right? But if you're trying to find a location, like I've seen people where they've died and that they've wrapped up in a lavender shower curtain and they collapse there. Well, the family can confirm that, right?
Right.
I'm not gonna know what bathroom that
Right.
and which home it is.
Right.
So it's trying to get enough info from the person I'm looking for to see where's your body at.
Okay.
Where's it physically located so I can come, so you can direct me to go to that particular place.
So, do you do a lot of those cases? Or is that something you're just kind of getting into?
It's come up a couple different times.
Okay.
So, so this is 2, 3, this is probably the 5th one that's just kind of thrown. The other ones, like there's one that there's not, like the general public doesn't know
Okay.
of the one.
Okay.
And I didn't know nothing about it because I don't watch TV at all.
Right.
And a lady had come for a reading, and it was a sister, so she was wanting to connect with her brother. So I, of course, bring him through, and then I see like a part of his body because it was. So let's just say the body was never intact.
Okay.
Right? And so I described where it was that they found it, the tattoos, everything associated with that part of the body, and then the police were like, how do you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, and so it was things like that. So there's been another one that was been years ago, but she was stuffed in there's 2 of them. One was stuffed more in a barrel, another one was something similar. And this police friend that I have, well, I've read them, and then we were talking about the case, and then I talked about this one. He's like, how do you know that? Because only the people in the department know that. I'm like,
Right. That's just how I work.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? So that's what those couple cases really got me intrigued to think, okay, well, if I can get that, I need to be able to figure out on a detective side, like
Right.
I don't care who does it, right? It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Who killed who? All I want to do is just find
Yeah.
the person, find the body. Because at the end of the day, I can't prove that. I mean, I could see it, but there's no way that that's going to translate out to something that's.
But a lot of times finding a body can help the detectives
Yep. If they have
get evidence and
enough evidence that they can go back and go yes.
Mhm.
Right.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I want to turn that. Excuse me, my love. All right, you get comfortable where you think you'll sit, and then I'm just gonna kind of.
I'm gonna move.
You're gonna move a lot,
That's how I am too.
just from like side to side.
She gets so mad at me.
No, I just need to make sure I have.
No,
it in
you can
frame.
just direct me and say, "Hey, get back in frame."
I'll just be like, shut up and scoot that way. Say the fucking frame, sir.
I'm always messing with shit.
Yeah, we
all
curse
of
a
this
lot,
was in
so.
front of our, like,
That's all-
right there. I dropped like every one of those last time.
It's okay to curse, and I think a lot of people do, but we think that we've got to be a different person.
Yeah.
When you're,
We're not good at that.
No,
then why should you be?
I definitely am a cusser.
Yeah.
Gosh,
I can't help it. My dad's always talked to me like I was a boy, really, my whole life.
Yeah.
My mom used to get so mad at me. You can't talk to her like that. She's a girl.
Watch me.
Yeah, it's exactly. She'll
I know
how
that.
to, she'll know how to talk to everybody in her fucking life then.
Oh man.
I feel like I need to get closer.
I feel like you need to.
Oh. We're playing around with the webcams.
OnlyFans.
forceful there.
That's
I'm just
her.
saying.
It's me. So yeah, I thought we would start with kind of talking about you a little bit and like how long you've been doing this, how you got into it. Is that stuff that you're comfortable with? Okay, cool.
Cool. Thank you for
Yeah.
doing this. By the
Thank
way.
you so much. We've been so excited. We always talk, when are we seeing Kevin? When are we seeing Kevin? And we all got sick, and then it's been
That's the way it all
chaotic.
works. Everything is divine timing.
Yep.
Yes. And so, and today's the sun shining.
Yes.
You're blonde again. It all worked out.
God.
Okay, so are you ready to begin?
Yeah.
Me.
Ready. Go.
Ready, and hit it. Okay, guys, we are here with Kevin, the psychic medium. That's what you go by, right? Isn't that your Facebook?
Yeah.
Kevin the psychic.
Koss.
Kevin Koss, the
K-A-S.
psychic medium.
Yeah, psychic medium.
Okay, we're here with Kevin Koss, the psychic medium. We met Kevin a couple months ago now at Ambient Crystals. You were doing readings down there. And it was really funny, and I actually didn't tell you this, but I was supposed to go down Friday to Ambient Crystals, and you were there on a Saturday. I was supposed to go Friday. I needed to go get crystals. It was payday. And I was going to go down there, and then everything hit the fan, and my kids were wiling out, and I didn't have a chance to get down there on Friday. And I was like, oh, I'll just go tomorrow. It's not a big deal. So I went down there and didn't even know that you were there. And I saw you standing by like that kind of open area, just kind of like just hanging out. You had your coffee and you were just hanging out.
Shoplifter?
Yeah, I was like, this guy's sus. and so that's why I was like, oh, I remember that the medium was going to be here today. And so I was like, are you doing readings? And you were like, yeah. I was like, I'll get one. But it was not planned. And it was very funny that I was supposed to be there Friday and I ended up coming down Saturday and met you. And you gave me a wild reading. We talked about it on the episode right after we met you. And then I called you and was like, you are not going to believe what this guy was telling me. He was dead on. Like, the stuff was crazy. And you were like, I got to go down there.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, so she was not even home. She ran home, and I picked her up and swooped her, and we went down there, and we had another reading with you, which was really, really cool. And then we vibed for quite a while.
Yeah.
But we tend to just talk.
We definitely should have paid you way more money.
We definitely underpaid Kevin for his time.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, you guys are fucking ripped me off.
Fucking assholes.
He's like, I'm really just here to get the rest of the money you owe me.
We're not hanging out.
No.
You just owe me.
But yeah, it was really, really wild. I've only ever seen one I've only ever seen one medium. How many have you seen?
There's one with you. Only with
That's
you.
it?
Only with you, boo.
Oh, that's sweet. So this will be your second and my second. And so I've always been really interested, like, how does one get into learning this gift about themselves? Like, was there a time where you realized, like, oh, I have this gift of whatever? What do you refer to it as?
A medium, really, right?
Okay.
Because social media and just everything, television has made it to be a psychic medium. It's really not true. Because a medium, you can see loved ones, but it's not just seeing loved ones. You can see futuristic pieces, your past, present, future. You can see events, right, that could happen, whether it could be an earthquake or use your imagination, whatever, right? So, and I've always been able to see. So I started seeing from as early as I can remember as 2.
Oh, wow.
And there's a lot that I don't remember, but that age, I mean, I know when I saw spirits, I know when I stopped seeing them and went with everybody else does regular day life, and I just assumed that was just a normal thing for me. Like I saw it, so I just figured everybody did.
Right.
And then I was doing my day job, which I call a day job back then, and my mom had been down in Arizona. So I mean, I've lost people in my life. Like I lost my dad when I was young, so I could have had a reason to go see one, but I just didn't.
Yeah.
And so my mom said, "Hey, I saw the psychic, and they said you could do this." I'm like, "Oh." And I didn't question it. I just, okay. So then I just had my cousin book a retreat and had her sign me up for classes. And she's like, well, which ones do you want to take? I'm like, I have no fucking idea. Just
Right.
sign me for up whatever.
All
I
of it.
trust
All
you
of
to put me wherever, right? So then I got a book and I read over that. And I'm like, okay, so this is what I need to do to open things back up. So within really learning and understanding what to do, in 2 weeks I opened things back up and started to perfect my craft, like everything, right? Like everyone
Right.
does. It doesn't matter what you do. Like I've yet to meet anyone that went into work and go, oh, I just want to fuck up today. What can I do, right?
What do you mean? That's literally what we do every time we record.
But this is the smoothest it's going.
That you want to do better.
Yeah,
You want to
yeah.
get the information better. And I'm not going to get everything right. Like it's when it comes to people or things, it's, you want to be in that high 90, 95% accuracy. But to be 100% is unrealistic. There's some times where that is. Like everything just clicks and I'm like, holy smokes. But it's not like that with every session. And
Right.
I don't feel like it should be, because if you were... It's about interpretation, right? So if I see an image, so it could be a person, or it could be like a video frame that I see, and so you got to take all that within seconds and just kick it out to where you understand it, right? Because their language is going to be different for you than it is for me.
Right.
But everybody's supposed to connect, and that's the beauty of it. Not everyone wants to, but grief shouldn't be like your loved ones go and you can't connect. It should be that you continue to connect and understand. And we all used to be this way years ago. And the more that life happens, some people don't want to, right? I could be a plumber. I could fix my plumbing, but I don't want to.
Right.
It's going to take me like 3 or 4 times longer than it would be for someone who knows what they're doing.
Right.
So that's what you really get to look at. And, and there's some people can be like mediums or psychics, whatever you want to term them. You could have a bad experience with one, but you just have to, hopefully that person just goes, just like I will, like, hey, for some reason I'm not connected. And no harm, no foul. Don't take money, go, right? I mean, it's like everything else. You can have a good experience or a bad experience. If you have a bad experience, just try to find someone else. It's about seeing who you vibe with the best.
I was just gonna ask if that it makes a difference. If you can feel like, hey, I feel a connection with this person, a vibe with this person.
Yep.
Or I mean, like obviously you did with us because we're fantastic. But like when you meet people, when you meet maybe people that you don't vibe like you're not on the, it feels like you're not on that same page, that same wavelength. Does
Yep.
that make?
And that's true. I mean, it's, and that's the thing. Individually, you're going to get a lot when you go to see someone. If you do it as a group session, it's hit and miss. Like you can hit, like out of 12 people, I could hit 10 perfect in like a 3 or 4 hours, but it takes a lot of energy. And so
Yeah.
there's going to be a couple that maybe I don't really connect on. And I did put the cart in front of the horse a little bit. So in my ways of becoming this medium, there was a piece that I didn't even talk about, but which was ghost hunting, right? So back in the 90s, it was a big thing, and I couldn't get enough of the ghost hunting shows, and so I started doing that, and I didn't realize that was going to lead to this, right? And it did. So probably late 90s, early 2000s, I started doing ghost hunting in the evenings and just for fun.
Yeah.
And that led me into really what got me here, because what that did was I was surprised at how good of photos that I always got. I got just insane stuff, but that's just because, looking back at it now, it was building my feels, my intuitive side, going, okay, shoot there, shoot to the left, or shoot to the right, because that's where the energy is going to be, and or audio stuff, So it life builds you in a direction if you just follow it, right? And even if you struggle and you're like, hey, I'm going to swim upstream, the river's going to take you where you're supposed to go.
Right.
So it's just understanding, right, that if you're an athlete, we don't question that. Like, an athlete has a God-given gift, just like a medium, or just like a hairdresser or a banker or whatever, right? Yeah. So if we're all given these gifts, we should all be different.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's just about making connections with people in your life, no matter how you do it, right? It's just because your life is all about the connections you make and how you conduct yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because the material things are gone.
Yeah.
And once you're gone, it doesn't matter what you had.
So do you feel, I've heard people explain that, or that their personal theory is that when a loved one passes on, they just go to a different plane of the same, like they're still here.
Yep.
They're just on a different frequency than we are.
That is true.
Okay.
So there's a couple things with that. So, excuse me. So you have a soul and you have a spirit, right? So we typically think that that's two separate things, but it's not. So your spirit can live on and on and on and on, multiple lives, right? But that would explain why your soul could be here and your spirit could be somebody else, someplace else, because the heaven state is all around us, and so it is the same plane, because your kids, small ones, can see and talk with somebody,
Yes.
and your pets can.
Yep.
But we don't question that. We just go, that's
Yeah.
But there's because their eyes aren't clouded over.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to ask, if it's kind of that innocence where it hasn't been taken away from them yet. So
Yeah.
they just see what is. It is what it is.
Yeah, because for them, it's not strange.
Right.
Right? And if we could be more like that child, and keep that with us, it would change grief tremendously. And then, if you had a negative issue with one of your family members, whether it's your mom, dad, or brother, sister, whomever, you could still talk to them, and then you would get what you were needing, because that person would go, I screwed up. I was way too hard on you. I didn't say these things. I should have said that. And you would go, okay. And there would be closure.
You mean after they've passed? Got it. Yeah. That would be fantastic.
They're there. I mean, and they want to communicate, and they don't want to be forgiven. I mean, they just want you to forgive yourself. So it's not like you have someone who's done something to you and they go, oh, please forgive me. No, they just want you to forgive yourself and move forward, right? And once you do that, you can become a better human being, a better
Right.
life person. So
I think that one of the things that I've always believed is through life, there's evolutions. You know, you start off as this innocent and you kind of see everything about the world. And then you get older and life happens and you kind of get jaded and you shut down a little bit. And then you put up these walls to protect yourself. And then you go through all these trials. And it's almost like we're trying to get back to that soul that we were when we first got here. And so one of the biggest things, and you and I talk about all the time, is like, I feel like I'm evolving. You know, like the whole point of life is to evolve. And you really feel the shift in energy when you're going to that higher frequency.
When you're on the right.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you just feel it. You just feel it inside of you. And I would say the last year, I have really, really felt just such a shift in vibration and such a shift in how I see the world and how I react to things. And I just physically feel like I'm going to that next level of life. And like, that's the goal. That's what we all want, is just to keep going and keep growing and evolving. And so it is really cool to just kind of think that it comes full circle. You know, you're just trying to get back to just seeing everything for what it is and what it can be. And I think life just kind of beats that out of you as you go through it.
I agree. You know, as you say that though, it that does make sense, because when you look at a child, right? So they can't move that much, right? When you're first born, obviously, they don't come out and start walking, right?
That would be terrifying.
Fucking scary.
Whoa! What the hell is
And then if
that?
they had teeth too. You know?
So they can't move much, and they can talk with the other side. And then as you get to that stage of life, you start seeing your family come to you, and what happens? Your body stops moving. You do revert back to who you were.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're right. You're spending all this time trying to figure out life and how to be connected. But at the end of the day, if you don't force it, it's just going to flow back in the same direction.
And I think it's been a really big learning process for me. Like when I would say my whole 20s pretty much was a very angry time in my life. There was a lot of I was very angry and wasn't willing to figure out why I was angry. It was everybody else that was making me angry, you know? And that was me dealing with a lot of trauma, but not dealing with the trauma. You know, well, they're pissing me off and they're looking at me funny and they're going to get their ass kicked. And just so angry, but it wasn't coming from the outside. It was coming from the inside, you know? And then
She met me.
and then I met Shauna, and life has been, you know, woo, ever since. Just up straight to the top. But then my son, you know, we've talked about it, got diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago now. What is it? 2024. So 2020, he was diagnosed with cancer. And it really taught me that, like, you have to sit in these feelings and you have to sit in what's going on internally, or you are going to drown. And it really taught me that, like, these little things that I'm angry about, they don't matter in the grand scheme of things. I would look back at 25-year-old me now and I would deck her right in the face, just because, like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, you have so much to be thankful for. There's so much good in this world, and look at your family, and why are you so angry? And it's because I was just holding on to all these things that don't matter. And going through Jaden's cancer journey, I just realized, like, life is super short. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. And there was moments that I didn't even know if Jaden was going to be here anymore, you know? And you deal with that. And you think, my God, what if this is my last summer with my kid, you know? And I'm going to live it up to every single moment. I'm getting emotional. This is weird.
It's all right. It's all right. You're allowed to.
Yeah, but you just, the point I'm getting to is I healed a lot during those 3 years, which is insane because I was going through all this other stuff, trying to take care of my kid and make sure that he's good, and doctor's appointments and, you know, lab work and putting his thing in and switching his medications out. But in all of this, I was healing myself because I was focusing on what mattered and letting go of everything that didn't matter. And so coming out of that, I mean, you were there. I don't even think I'm kind of the same person I was when I went into that journey versus today.
No.
And I think it's really cool when you can look back at all of the shit that you've gone through. You too. You've gotten to a point now where you look back at all of it and you're almost grateful for all this stuff that you went through because it's brought me to this moment. You know what I mean? Like all of that, like we can be as mad as we want about it and why did this have to happen to me? And wow, that was a horrible time and a horrible thing that happened. But God, if X, Y, and Z hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here today with my son and my daughter and my husband in my house with my friends, you know, and she and I wouldn't know each other. And I think you just really learn to be super thankful for experiences in general, just life in general, good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you should be, right? I mean, that's what I just went through a journey myself that I did an ayahuasca ceremony. So it's just it takes you into a whole nother world, right? And you should be thankful and loving about everything. Because, you know, just like your parents, right? So let's say you have a mom and or dad. Typically, we all have one of those to be here. So, but
Generally, that's how it
should.
But let's say you see them at the most 12 times a year, and you're like, oh man, I got another 30 years. Well, you know you really don't.
Yeah.
So if you take that times 30, how many times do you really see them?
Yeah.
Do you really have 30 years? No, you have significantly less time than that, right? So it's just in knowing that and that's if nothing happens, right? Like an accident or cancer or a heart attack or whatever. You know? It's just understanding that every moment that you have, it could be your last one.
Yep. And that's hard. I think that's hard for people to face kind of that immortality or that mortality side of things. But I do think going through those very difficult periods in life makes you appreciate that, life is short. You know, 100 years when you think about it, and most of us don't live that long. We're talking 80.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
That goes so fast. Like, that is insanely fast. And my goal is that people will, like, I wish that I could talk to a younger version of me and be like, things are going to be okay.
Same.
Like, you're going to be all right. And be excited about the future instead of terrified and dreading. I mean, there were periods I didn't want to be alive anymore. Like, this sucks. What am I doing here? I hate this. Like, life is stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And there were times where you just want to give up, and to know, I'm glad that I didn't. And I'm glad that, you know, I could see there's something to hold on for. I don't know what it is, but today ain't the day for me to go. I just wish that everybody that goes through that or feels those moments can understand, like, the light is coming. You know, it is coming. We're here for a reason, and it is beautiful, and you just kind of got to see the rainbow through the storm, I guess.
Yep.
Enjoy it, you know? Like, even if you don't do a ceremony, right? Like, if you were to just, to understand, like, the pure joy, right? It cut everything out of your life for a week. And so cut out alcohol, tobacco, sugar, spices, and put yourself, I know you're looking at me weird.
So you want us to off ourselves.
But
You want me to jump off my roof. Got it.
And so if you did that, and you just, let's say, just ate chicken, very little meat, no red meat, without any seasoning, without salt, and steamed vegetables, do that for a week, and then start introducing something back into your palate, and you're just going to be so thankful of that food that you just weren't thankful about 2 weeks ago.
God, that's
because
true.
You're like, oh my God. And I just got done doing it because I had to go through a very strict regiment of food. And when I took my first bite of, like, what I would call real food, and it wasn't even real. It was just, it was a soup. But I'm like, oh my God, with a little bit of seasoning.
Delicious.
I'm like, this is delicious.
Best thing I've ever eaten
had.
in life. That was me after the stomach flu when I had some crackers. I was like, these are the best damn crackers I've ever eaten. So let's see. We talked about, so what are you doing, like, right now? What's kind of your day-to-day, like, as a medium?
Well, I don't wear anything large or small.
That's funny you say that, because my grandmother was a medium and she worked with the police department to solve cold cases. many years ago. And my grandpa was like a super douchebag. And my grandma was like a bigger lady. And so every time she would say, I'm a medium, he would be like, you're more like an extra large. But every time I was like, what a dick.
So that's interesting that you say that. And that's something that, as far as your grandmother being, a medium, right? So in my everyday life, like when that's what I live for. I live to bring messages to for people because it's more fulfilling.
Yeah.
For me, like I don't have to, like when I say the day job that I used to have, I would look at you and I would go, okay, I can see the better side of both of you. You can't see it for yourself, but then my corporate world would say, here's what you need to do, because we want to get those people out of here, right? So corrective actions and so you'd go down the list after, documenting everything. You go to verbal, written, second written, and on up the chain until you got rid of them, because that was your goal.
Yeah.
And I remember my most pleasurable day in that experience was when I decided to leave that and do this. I went into my boss, and he had that plan for me to get rid of all these different people. And I only knew him for a year because I had changed jobs, and I took this other role. And I went in his office. I said, you know what? Screw you. This is not the way life is. I can see the better side of all these people, and you have no understanding, right? You just see what you want to see.
That's wild.
And you won't do the things that I'm telling you to do to make these people better people.
Right.
Which is because nobody wants to go into work saying, what can I fuck up today? Instead, let me reinforce the positives that you did.
Yeah.
Because you're going to change the things I can't see you do that are wrong, right? So, and so knowing that is just, that's what my life is like now. It doesn't mean that everything's perfect. I have the same ups and downs like everybody else does, right? So, but it makes my life so much more enjoyable, so much more pleasurable that, that I get a chance to make someone else's life better. Even if it's just one person, right? And that's why I've always looked at life. If I made a positive impact on just one person's life, then I've done my job. And if I get to do more than that, then fantastic. That's just
right.
It's a plus.
A plus.
That's why she's the only person that I'm nice to. Because I'm like, well, I've made her life perfect.
Fantastic.
So, like, fuck everybody else.
Doesn't matter anymore. I did my job.
I've done it.
Person happy.
Woo! Do you get, like, overwhelmed in crowds with your gift? Because
Yes,
I would
do.
find that.
So I tell people all the time, you're this way, then just protect yourself. Put a blue light around you. But it's still challenging for me. So I can't, and my wife knows that. Like, I can't go into a Walmart without punching somebody.
That's why we just were at Walmart earlier today.
I can't go. So I can go, but I have to stay in there a very short amount of time. But the best thing for me to do is go in the evenings, because that way I'm not inundated, because I don't care how good you are at protecting yourself, you're going to have energy spill over, because your body, like, you know your body size, right? It's like mine, right? You know what that is, and you know what everybody else's body size is like. But what we don't realize is that every single body has a 60-foot radius of energy.
Holy buckets.
I just watched something about this on TV the other day.
60 feet?
60 feet.
Like, you radiate. It was talking about how much your energy radiates out.
Yep.
Woo!
To affect other people, and it said 60 feet, and I was like, well, Jesus.
You are like men, and it's the way I get it, the way we project things. Men are 40 feet back, 20 feet forward. Females are the opposite. You're 40 feet out, because you want to know everything about that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy, it's not that way for everybody, but the vast majority of the guy is the protective person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're protective up front, he's protective in back. So, you think about that kind of energy, and you can't stop it all. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You're going to affect it. And I would want to, right? Because being an empath, that's a word that's thrown out there way too much, but we all are.
Mm-hmm.
But I would rather be in that position where I can feel your energy. Good, bad. I would rather be affected that way than to walk into the store and not feel anything.
Yeah.
And so I look at it as a positive, because I can go in and I go, oh my God. Because the problem that we have is that, without getting too like a dad.
Oh,
right?
we
But-
love it.
but
Mine's
it's-
dead. Go for it.
Okay, but it's that we look at somebody's life when we see a snippet, like we might even be with them for 6 hours, but that's a snippet of energy. You can't understand who they are in just that short amount of time, right? So we see the way someone looks or an action they did. What that doesn't encompass everything about that person, right? So it's but on the field side where I can feel that energy, I can feel like, yeah, you know what? No, you're actually a good person. There's very few, and I've met a few that are like horrible, and when you know the stories after the fact, then you're right. Like before I knew this, there was this person that I didn't get good vibes out of, and later in life, like probably 10 years later, I found out they killed 2 people, right?
Woo!
And it was after the fact, right? So, but I could feel that energy, and I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
I am real big on energy. I can pick up like that if I'm gonna fuck with you or if I'm not, and it's within 10 seconds of meeting somebody. It can hit me like a wall of bricks, just like, oof, that is all bad. Like, that is all bad. I want nothing to do with it. And I am the type that I'm like, nope, you're done. Like, bad juju. And I've yet to be wrong. But I've also had experiences where we'll be at the bar. Remember that bar that when we were at Tins that one time? And that guy... we told him I was a psychic, and he was like, what can you tell me about me? And then I told him all this shit, like that he had been sexually assaulted as a kid and stuff.
Vaguely.
It was wild. And this has happened 3 times at the bar. And I'm like, is it because I'm drinking and like my protection has gone down that people are like swarm to me, and they will just, like that guy, I've never met him before in my life. I could just feel like a heaviness on him. And I said, well, do you want to talk for a second? And we went and sat in the corner, and you were by yourself.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, and we did. I was like,
so.
yeah, he spilled his guts, and I was like,
he was crying by the time they were done talking.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we should.
Well, and your grandmother had it, right? So I mean, I do believe like everybody has it, but you have an easier connection than what you realize. And so drinking, some people say, well, you can't if you've been drinking. Yeah, you can. I mean, it's just lets down the walls.
that's what I think it does.
Yeah. And what that does is it lets down the walls, but then also puts you in a spot to where you're not in total control. And so you're picking up stuff that you ordinarily wouldn't, because then you would go, no, I can't do this, right?
Yes.
And that's where you need to look at. And I don't know, we probably talked about that before, but you need to look at opening yourself up, right, and doing more, because that's just a small portion of what you could do.
My clearest visions have come when I've been drinking, and some, like, when, remember homegirls or the jerk's girlfriend, I was seeing visions of her mom, and I've never in my life seen a vision of anybody. And I was like, your mom's doing this. Like, there's a lot of like music going, and she's doing this. She goes, my mom's a painter. And I was like, oh, so she's painting. Like, and then I was like, that makes sense. But that's never happened since. It's when I'm like drunk at a bar, and somebody who feels very heavy comes up to me, and it just flows from there. But I have been like, maybe I should work on that.
So can you sense that she has something to,
or can you sense people that are more like open like you are?
Yeah, the vast majority. I feel like
Okay.
there's going to be some people that you don't get it, and that could be because you're not supposed to be the one that helps them in that journey, right? That's what, like we talk about vibing, right? But you have that on you if you just open things up, and that's the traumas are what open up our abilities, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's the other thing that that I don't tell everybody, but it's true. Like, traumas help me open up my abilities. Like, if all the traumas in my past had those things never happened,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am today, because I needed those things, because I had to feel when I needed to protect myself.
And that's what I was just gonna get to. I think you learn those signs within your. It's like a
Intuition.
yeah, your intuition. You know, like and I've been really trying to start recognizing those signs as to like, okay, I'm getting something versus, oh, that was weird, and then just like push it away. I'm trying to like embrace those moments, but it's hard. It's hard to ground and like focus on that. It almost hits me like a deja vu, like it's there 1 second and then I'm just like, oh, never mind, and it's gone.
And what you'll do is you get that in that second, right? And so it doesn't become protective for me anymore, right? But that's what it got me to. And so then you go, okay, wait, I need this so I can pick up your energy way out here and understand what it all means, right? So in a second, if I see someone coming at me with a belt or a hammer, I know they're gonna cause me harm, right? I just know it because if it's happened once, it's not something you gotta really understand. You're like, oh my God, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's the way connecting in becomes, right? Because then instead of seeing that hammer or the belt, with you, I might see this other energy, and I go, oh, I know exactly what that is because I've seen it a million times.
It becomes an instinct,
and it becomes your language, right? So that's where, the more you open and you do work for people, then your vocabulary builds, right?
Gotcha.
And so it's something you learn over time. And when I say over time, it doesn't need to take someone 5 or 10 years to become great at this. It's, and you could be great at connecting for people in less than 6 months, right? And because when I look at how I started connecting back in 2008 for people, and I thought those were great reads, but I look at it now and I'm like, man, that's nothing compared to what I can do now.
Right.
Right? But it's just because you continue to build, right? And
perfect your craft.
yeah, because you want to be better and better and better. And you want to bring closure and love to somebody. I mean, that's really what this is all about. It's just for you to know that people are there, right? That people are there for you. And even if you didn't feel like people were there for you in your life, and you felt like the need to always protect, because you're like, and you build your walls, and then it's like trying to break them down later in life becomes challenging because like you really, like you want someone to, like you really want that unconditional love.
Yep.
But it's hard for you to understand what it is.
Yep.
And
we just talked about this last night.
This is where it's starting to come further into you because like you're starting to understand that this person really does care for you. And that's hard for you to understand because you look at, okay, what are you wanting?
Yes.
And
what do you want from me to better your life?
That's the way that you see this. And you're starting to slowly turn into
a bitch.
Into that person who can receive. It has no problem with you giving to people because you give too much. But it's the receiving side that has hurt you, like that you just want. Like you are enough as a person in this life, and that's hard for you to understand because you don't part of you though, I mean you do over criticize who you are with everything that you do because it's just like you that gets back to not being loved, like not truly feel like maybe you're not like a waste of time, but something of that nature, right?
Yeah.
And like the biggest things for you that really have got to be given to you is that there's more of like an I love you, and it's just like it's not. It's okay for you to let others in to help you because like you don't need to be on this island anymore.
Can you pick up the energy in this house? Because that's wild.
Literally, him and I just had this conversation
last night.
Word for word.
And that's...
I literally said it's very hard for me to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's super hard for me because
that's going to change. And because this is like the beginning of your journey. Like you... the one thing you need to do is just raise that self-esteem and confidence because you're still, and I get it, you have to be, you're still in a protective mode and you're not real sure like this guy's your biggest cheerleader. Like, and you're not. I get that you understand that, but you don't. Like, you are very. I feel like he can be emotional for the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so. Right, and I feel like there's more of wanting to grow your business as well.
Yep.
So, like, he's the one who's going to be your catalyst to do that. Because, and it's more, it's almost like he's wanting to find out what's it going to take from you to make this thing, like, bigger. Because I feel like he's ready to take the next step. But you're just a little afraid because it's just like you really can't take getting hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you need to know, like, this is the real deal. Like, this is the best thing. And, you know, when I say this September, hold a significance, or the number 9 there for you.
September doesn't hold significance anymore. That
Oh shit.
yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna turn the camera on you.
It doesn't hold a significance anymore.
Nope.
Used to.
Yeah.
And what was that for you?
The first time I got married was in September.
Okay. And so that's part of what's driven you backwards. It's not everything, because it's not, this person wasn't the only person that would have taken the legs out from underneath you.
Right.
And so, you know, there is I mean, it's definitely what's changed a good chunk of your life.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Will you move over here?
Me?
Yeah. There's like a bunch of shit in the background over here, so I'm just gonna. Sorry, guys. There we go.
Whoa.
But sometimes, you know, it's about going into. Not everything has to be bringing in a dead person, right?
Right.
It's about what is the message that needs to be heard today, and your message is that you are enough and that you're loved, and like the world's not going to come crashing down upon you. It's more about you opening your feelings up, your love door back open, right?
Yeah.
It's just because this is the right person, and you know it is.
Yeah, I know.
And you'll get there when you're supposed to get there. But just know, like, there is a did that just pass? So is there an anniversary or birthday that's just passed?
Colby's birthday was last Friday.
Okay.
Should we get Colby in here?
If you want to. If Marshall's not awake. Yeah, his birthday was last Friday.
Okay, very, very good. So, Colby's birthday last Friday. So, I guess we can wait for her to come back. Are we still on live?
No, we're not live. She just pushed record. I don't know if she stopped. I don't know. She's the tech. I
She's
am
the
not.
tech.
Are they sleeping? Oh, they're sleeping.
They're knocked out.
And that's cool.
Oh, look at them.
Oh my God. So,
I thought it was awful quiet out there.
is it still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's, you know, and that's interesting, right? Because if I bring someone through that's past, I look for the dates that mean something, right? And the interesting thing is we'll go back and look at this, is that I bring up September because that's when you died, basically. Is the way I look at that, right? It changed you. And then we're talking about this person back and forth who's that I'm giving you information on that this guy's your best person, and you know that. And then they take me back and they say, hey, a birthday or an anniversary just passed. And it was his birthday, which explains that was your past, this is your future, right? Which is just another confirmation for you to know, like, this is my guy, right? And he's not going anywhere. And it's time to be open. It's time to become, for you, a butterfly. Like that's what butterfly tattoo. So this is your direction. This is your journey. And you'll get there when it's meant to be. You are moving in a positive direction. So just don't be hard on yourself. This is the right direction, the right person in your life. And I feel like you do have the right answers. When I say you have the right answers, I mean, you're just as intuitive as your friend here. Like, because but you hold it in more.
Yep.
And so you just need to, the two of you just really need to start working at this and morphing what you do.
Millennial mediums.
Boom.
Boom.
Millennial mediums.
Just kidding. Go on.
No,
Wait, hold on.
That's not bad.
This isn't the show.
That's not bad.
it's a great thought, right? Because be true to who you are. And because what you do for a living is mixing with souls, right?
Yes.
And that's
it's exhausting.
yeah, but now think about that as a way of building your craft, right?
Yeah, if I can help one person just by letting them talk to me and tell me all of their shit, they dump it all on me. If you feel better when you leave my chair, cool. And you like your hair, sweet. Love that.
Don't you kind of have to like protect yourself?
100%.
Well,
that's why it's hard, because like I come home and I'm like this all day listening to everybody, and then I come home and I'm like, I don't want to talk.
And here's the thing, right? So you hold stuff in about people that you should be using, and you don't use your voice enough, and that's why you're wearing the blue shirt, right? Because your blue is your chakra point of your throat. So it's like your spirit world is your team is trying to help you move, right? in a new direction, and you are moving, and there's no time frame to all this. The time frames we put in our own heads. You're going to continue to grow what you guys do on this podcast because you've got the purest intent, right? Because you're not trying to be someone you're not, right? And it helps. Like, you don't care. I don't want to say, I don't want you to hit me or anything, but you don't care how you look. You don't care how you talk. You are being real, and that's what you want to be in this life. Is the best people in this world are the ones who are real. That really, you don't change anything because of a situation. You just stay who you are. And that's what you want. You want to achieve that state, no matter who you are, right? And with I know it's gonna sound horrible. What's your first name again?
Shauna. It's fucking terrible. No, I'm kidding.
You're in her literal house. What the fuck are you doing, Kevin?
Oh, Shauna.
It's fine.
No, I know. But you know what? It's...
You probably got a lot of names running through your head all the time.
Probably.
A lot of names. It just doesn't
I'm Christina, just before things get even more weird.
I got you, Christina, because you're saving my phone as
True.
Christina.
Yeah, this is Shauna.
Shauna.
That is me.
And, we look over at Christina. I mean, here's the things with you, right? There's a lot.
Let me grab my drink.
There is a
Let me grab
lot.
my drink. All right.
But, yeah, the one thing about your son, who you were talking about, like, he really is like I've never met him, but a very confident, like you worry more for him than he does of himself. Like, I do feel like more of a confident, like, energy about him. You understand that?
Yes and no.
So it's like, I get that he may not look like everybody else, and that may hold himself back. But he's really, for the most part, like he's confident with like who he is.
Yeah, I would say that.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the other things will come in time, right? And like from your grandmother's perspective, like you are, right, like you've done, you have done enough. Like you may not have really, you may have beat yourself a little up on how. I feel more like how he got, his illness, or if you, like, I want to say you got there in the right time, right? Like it's just, but it's with her, to you, it's like being proud of who you are. You don't back down to anybody, and it's just like you didn't back down to this because she knew you could handle it. I mean, she's, right. Because you know her, like if she had something to say negatively to you, she would. I mean, she wouldn't. She'd beat it out of you in a second, because she wants you to be more positive, more loving as a soul. She wants you to continue to use your voice and help other people. And I feel like with her, she may not have been able to be in that state towards like the latter part of her life, like as far as being able to help herself to vocalize. I just feel like something more like takes more of the energy out from her, like more of
Which grandma are we talking about?
so this, I want to say this is more on your mom's side.
Oh, okay. That sounds
You understand
accurate.
that?
Mm-hmm.
And she may not, I just don't feel like she got to a point where she wasn't mobile.
God, I have to remember. Yes.
You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So, does the number 6 or the month of June hold a significance?
I have to think. When did she pass? No.
Marshall was born in June.
Yeah, Marshall was born in June. For her, no.
For her, no, but your son, Marshall.
Mine.
That's her son.
Oh, you're Marshall. No, not yours.
Not me.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. In
June.
And that's okay. I mean, I feel like it should pull for you later.
Okay.
Don't dwell on too much. But then again, like I said, there's going to be some things I'm not going to necessarily.
Or it doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's.
Do you want to sit here? So you can be. Are you sure?
Yeah, I guess we better.
Okay.
So there's your mom's mom is very much like she I don't get her as a meager person. Like she's gonna use her voice as to and more of a stubborn energy as well. You understand that?
1000%.
And so that's why she's not someone who's gonna let someone push her around. And that's where you pull that from. Like you won't allow people to push and pull you around any longer. It wasn't that way for you your whole life. That's what you grew into, right? And
My mom says I came out the womb swinging.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I've never given. I feel like I lack a shame in the sense of like, there's no decorum with me. Like if I think you're out of pocket, I'm gonna be like, you are out of pocket.
You're out of pocket.
Like you are out of pocket, and there's no like, oh, like maybe you should like watch your voice. I'm like, you better shut the fuck up. Because you're talking to me crazy. Like, yeah, it's always been like that.
And and when so for her, like the big message is it's really like love yourself. Like you couldn't have done anything more. Like, and I feel like with your son, that's what it was. Like you could control that. Like you couldn't control your own father. In regards to like how like he just I feel like he just did himself in with the way that he took care of himself, or lack thereof, I should say.
1000%.
I understand that, and that's why when you look at that's why your grandmother comes in first to talk about you and your son. You know how you could control that, but you couldn't control this other thing in your life, and being upset with him as well. Like it's just like and
Stop looking at me.
conflicting yourself with how you felt towards him.
Very conflicted.
Because like you just wanted someone to take you in and just like and want to be there for you and do everything that they could to stay here for you, and that you didn't get. And there's an apology journal from him to you. Like he should have been like a better person in your life. Been I don't know why I say should have been in your life more. Like I feel like he just wasn't there. You understand that? And like that really affected you in a negative way more than what he realized. He just didn't feel like this is just him, but it's like I don't feel like he didn't have like empathy or really cared about what people thought. Like, and it wasn't just a you thing, but it would have felt more like a you thing, like you trying to figure out what you did wrong for him or to him.
Yeah.
To cause this, but like you're understanding it wasn't you. It was him.
I think he was like a classic narcissist, and had a lot of people fooled. But at the end of the day, he didn't give a shit about anything but himself. Like that's just who he was. And I don't think he was capable of giving a shit about anybody more than he cared about himself. But there's a conflict there because up until probably like 7, I was daddy's girl. Like dad favored me. I was my dad's favorite. We did everything together. He was very abusive towards my brother. And then when my parents divorced, it kind of like we were supposed to go over there every weekend, and then my brother stopped going because he was being abused. And I remember telling him like, well, if Nick's not coming, I'm not coming. And he didn't fight for that. He was like, okay, like, I don't care. And then we moved shortly after that. We moved from California to Nebraska, and we stopped communicating when I was 13, probably. Just didn't speak. And then he died 2-3 years ago. Mm-hmm. The year I was pregnant, so 2017. So we had not spoken in 10-15 years.
And so just know as he steps in for that, like and he does offer up the apology. It was his own fault, his own neglect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that he didn't care, but when he was here, like he didn't. Like he's over there, he understands what his mistakes were, right? And so it's really telling you, like you both somewhat have the same message as far as just being like being loved. Like you didn't do anything yourself to cause that, and that's what he's wanting to let you know. Like there wasn't like he was just more of a thorn that just kept everybody at bay. That kept everybody away.
Yeah.
And there is I don't know. I would also look at February for some reason. So either number 2 or February. We just kind of keep that in your thoughts.
Okay. So we have 6. Good thing this is recorded. We can go back to it.
Go back and look at it. But it's like he's wanting just to let you know. Like you both have somewhat similar messages, but like it's I don't feel like he's completely gone, out of your life. Like I feel like he is, even though he is on the physical body side, like he watches out for you, more importantly your kids. Like I feel like it's more like his duty to like correct
I could see that.
some of the past mistakes.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think that he knows that he did wrong, and I think that he knew it then and wasn't willing to take accountability for it. And one of the last conversations that we had, I was like 14 or something, and he was saying how he didn't understand why my brother wasn't speaking with him. And I looked at him and I said, "You're going to sit here in my face and tell me that you don't know why he's angry. You have no idea why he doesn't speak to you." And he was just like, "Yeah, I don't get it." And I'm like, "I don't know. Could it be that you beat the fuck out of him all the time?"
Yeah.
But it was never something that he would acknowledge. It was never something that he would acknowledge. And one of the last, I said, "Don't ever talk to me about my brother again. If you're going to sit here and play these games," and I'm 14, and he was shocked because the last he knew of me, I was his 7-year-old daddy's little girl. And I remember him just being like, "Whoa, like that's a lot." But yeah, I think that he knew and was just never willing to take accountability for that. But I could see him now looking back being like, "Okay, well maybe I'll watch over the little ones because I fucked up these other two."
You fucked up and I am running short on time.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I've got another session in Lincoln next to do.
You're totally good.
But I mean, just know like this, and that's what I love about this stuff. Like just yours. I didn't know whose birthday or anniversary was passing, but it was your husband's. Or I say husband, even though you're not married. You're gonna.
Not yet.
But like it's those pieces that shows you like your direction,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and that also explains like because of what you're doing. Like even this, you are bringing more like laughter and hope to those that that don't know you, and that's why this is going to be successful. Just because you're doing this from your heart, right? You're just truly, just like what you do in life, like you're just wanting to help people. And when you're in that direction and that mission, then things are given to you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we do want to do a giveaway that you've agreed to. We're going to give away a reading with one of our listeners. We are going to put it on our Facebook page and probably our TikTok as well. But if you guys want a free reading with Kevin Koss, is it Koss or Cause?
Koss, K-A-S.
K-A-S. Okay, so if you guys want a free reading with Kevin Koss, we're going to have a giveaway on our Facebook page. So go to Millennial Momming Podcast and check it out. And Kevin is fantastic, and he is like the gentlest soul and just a really good vibe. So we thank you so much for being here. This has been a blast, and we would love to have you back sometime. And
I'm gonna go smoke 10 cigarettes now.
yeah, that was heavy. we need another shot. Yeah. We need to finish our drink.
When you said September, I was like,
that was me when you mentioned my dad. I was like, here we go.
Like, even I don't know how that's going to go, right? And so I like it because instead of you doing a mediumship read, it went into your past, and it snakes its way up to your future, right? And it mixes back and forth, and that's what you're wanting. If you're open to get yourself to a new direction, right? It's just
all of that shit
led
me here.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It's a good fucking place to be.
It is good. I like it here.
I like it.
I like this house.
I guess I'll hang out.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
I'll stick around.